10% and earnings per share. Earnings per share of 15, that's a very good number. So what do I get? I get a buy with a 4.6 to 1 upside ratio, a total return of 16.6 and an average return of 12.4. So it's a return. And that was my report because I know we have many more other companies.
Briefly say this stock dropped when the Ozempic and other obesity drugs came out, thinking nobody's going to need sleep apnea. But I think the company's demonstrated it's going to do just fine. Okay. Next, we have Veeva with Pat. Pat, are you prepared?
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, great.
Trying to find my mute. Okay. So let me share. So Randall, I am prepared, but I just got a new laptop and I realized that my Zoom is not fully installed, so it's not allowing me to share the window. I can talk it through or what I have, if that's okay. But I have my SSG, and if you go to my iClub and you pull up my name with the stock, I do have the SSG linked to.
Yeah, that's going to have to get, I don't know if my computer can do that. So why don't I just bring up the visual analysis?
Okay.
And we can, let's see, here we go. Okay. Am I screen sharing? Yes or no? I'm not screen sharing yet, am I? So I have to share and I have to go here and there you go.
Okay, that's great. So, I could leave it right there.
Go ahead.
So Veeva, just to remind everyone, Veeva is a cloud-based software for healthcare, health and life sciences. So we currently own 12 shares of Veeva at the average cost of $2,726.62. The closing price as of yesterday, the 15th, is $233.46. And the most recent value line was reported February 28, 2025. Veeva's fiscal year ends December 31st. And so their annual report wasn't yet submitted, so I couldn't see it. So I'm pulling up value. I looked at the value for the last quarter, and it's been pretty good. It shows good numbers. So the most recent quarter, like I said, is January 25th, 2025. The latest quarter sales growth is 14.3%, and the latest quarter EPS growth is 31.1%. Value line sales growth, value line forecast sales growth is 11%, which is 2% down from the last year's projection. And value line forecast EPS growth is 12%, which was 2% down from last year's projection. SSG forecast sales that I selected was 10%, and SSG forecast EPS is 9%. So just to give a background of why we had previously, I had the SSG forecast growth at 14.6 and the EPS at 14.3 when we initially bought it. I went along with, after reading a little bit more about Veeva, I went along with the analysts and brought down our forecast and to 10% and the EPS at 9%. At the current price of $233.46, so I said, the stock presents a PE of 53.9. And oh, by the way, I should say I took out some outliers. So 2016, let me look at my SSG again. Yes, for 2020 and 2021, I took out the outlier for the high price. And for 21, I took it off for the low price also of 80.8. Let me see if that's what you did. Yes, I did not. Let me check one more time. 10 years. Yes, and I also took out 2015, 87.1. And 2019, the high price of 87.1, and 2019, the high price of 93.1. Sorry, Randall, I just got to switch between two screens. Okay, yes. So that's how we're still off, but I got 53.9, maybe something I did different. But let me move on because I think it's okay. It's still showing what I kind of came up with. It shows that the PE is below the average of 58.7 for the past 5 years. That's because sentiments is kind of slowly diminishing for this company. The analysts right now is doing well, but I think the risk factors, they are the most conservative people are looking at, thinking about that behind their mind, behind this. So lowering, so by selecting those PE, lowering the high price PE, going to the relative value of 91.9%, giving that a relative value of 91.9% and a upside downside ratio of 3-1. Is that what you got, Randall?
No, mine's much less. I put in your numbers.
Okay.
I'm getting upside downside of 1.6-1 and a hold.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how high. Better Investing is not recommending using a high PE forecast more than 30. True. And so we're using 50 because that's what's been in the past. But if their earnings and sales growth are coming down, which you've chosen, the PE is going to drop if that's true.
Right.
But I'm just mentioning that's what the BI recommends, not using an average high PE greater than 30.
I went
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Higher. It's okay. I actually went a little bit higher than that. And that's because I just used the average between the PE, the 5-year PE and the current PE. And that just was me because the 5-year PE shows 70 on my, and I just took the average of that. And I came up with 53. I'm showing, 53.9. But that was just my choice. It's just thinking, following this company, being a software company. My recommendation is to continue holding our 12 shares because I do believe, even though sentiments is, the analysts are coming down. It's not by much, but they are slowly just getting used to this company. And I also feel the risk factor. There's two things that can affect their revenue. One is that this company, being a software, is doing so well. Microsoft or Oracle or somebody can come and say, well, I like your product and we want to buy it. So that's a risk. And the second one is that, looking at the environment today, what could affect a software company is hardware. And I was looking at the tariffs put on aluminum and steel and stuff like that. Their hardware needs those things. So that could be not much. I'm not sure how much, but that could be something that people are looking at or thinking ahead. So that's my presentation. I think we should hold. Let's wait. Let's see how they do this coming quarter, or they did overall in the fiscal year. Everybody's giving it high marks that they did well this year by changing some of their cloud offering some more cloud-based solutions to the life sciences. And when you think of life sciences, think of pharmaceutical, think of the vaccination, think of all these things that we've been hearing more about in the news. Thank you. That's my presentation.
Are there any questions?
Oh, thank you. Are there any questions?
Oh, I had a question. I put in the chat, but the PE is high. Did you all buy with that high PE, and or what is your typical PE that you look for when deciding on the stock?
Ooh, we did buy with a high PE, but I don't remember the exact number. But like Randall says, the typical PE that Better Investing look at is anything under 30. But it does depend. In my experience, I'm not talking for everybody, but I think it depends on the company. There are a handful of companies, I think, that you could find a good company that passes the guideline. I'm not encouraging it, but I'm just saying that's my personal judgment.
Yeah, software companies are highly profitable in general, because once you make the software, you can sell it to everybody for less than a cent a piece. But anyway, thank you very much. I mean, so that's our one, our healthcare stocks. When we go to healthcare later on, we could consider what we want to do with that and the other ones. So the next company to discuss is, let's see, is Chipotle with Connie. Connie, you ready? Miss Morgan, are you there? Okay.
Can
Well,
you hear me?
oh yeah, good, good.
Okay, sorry. All right, yes, I'm ready.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay. All right, hold on. Oops, hold on. Okay. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Okay, so the stock that I'll be presented today for watch is on Chipotle Mexican Grill. And the closing price yesterday was at $50.03. Shares are down 13.79% during the past month. And this is the lowest the stock has been since February 2024. I think it's a good investment to get into that stock, because right now, since the prices are down and the analysts have evaluated it to be an undervalued stock, it's a good growth potential. Where's the rest of my, oops. Okay, and as Pat mentioned about the tariffs, they get their avocados from Mexico, about 2%. So I'm not sure how much that will affect the prices going forward, since there's a hold on the tariffs still next month. But not all their avocados are from Mexico. Only 2% of it. The others are from other South American countries. So that's still good for the company. They could increase their prices to offset the tariffs by lowering, or not lowering, increasing the menu for the year. And also, so this is from Yahoo, their market cap and their sales in the PE, which that looks very good for now. And they're also expanding more locations. So the store planned to open up about 300 to 345 restaurants for the year in the North American region. And they've also are planning new menus. So they've added new honey chicken dish to their menu, which that could help with sales also. And they've also developed a robotic technology to help with the automation for their food service in the kitchen, that, as it says, that the machine can cut, core, and peel avocados in 26 seconds. So that should be good for their bottom line, so they don't have to have that many people in the restaurants, since this is going to be automated to do that. And these are their competitors, and so far, they're doing a little better than the other companies like Carver, Shake Shack, and Sweet Green. And that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, this company, their CEO left to go to Starbucks last year. But I
Right.
would agree with Connie. They just keep on solid quality sales and earnings growth. You know, I think if we need to stock in that sector at the price that's come down, it would be a good choice now. I would agree with what you said.
What did you say it did with Starbucks?
Well, the CEO from Chipotle was hired to go to Starbucks about 6 months ago. You know, his initial package was $95 million. So I think we all can be a little bit jealous of that. He was an excellent CEO, but subsequently, I think he's been gone 6 months. Subsequently, Chipotle just keeps on doing well. I mean, it was well presented by Connie, and the company is solid, and its price has dropped significantly.
Now, is this one you all already own?
No, we do not own it as of yet.
Mm.
But as I said, if it's in the sector we need to add to, as I would agree with Connie, it's an excellent choice.
Question for Connie, this is Jennifer. Can you share your SSG, please?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I sent it to everyone.
Pardon?
Yeah, I sent it out.
Yes, I know that. That's
Okay.
what I think some may not have received it, perhaps.
Oh, okay.
Can I have
So,
quick, oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just regarding sharing the SSG by putting in iClub. Is that where you share it, or do we always email it? Like I put it in my iClub.
My
It's
iCloud,
also an iClub, but I also sent it yesterday to everyone in the group, an email.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the email, if you click on the email, certain part of the email, you also get to iClub that has that. So it has kind of both.
just a comment, in my iCloud, you cannot retrieve your SSG. If you share it by email, yes, I can open an SSG. My iCloud will have few things like earnings per share projections, or maybe the buy below, sell above, but not much information than that. I don't have your PEs, for example, if I go to my iCloud. So it's a very summary. They will give me the part, but not the SSG itself. So it's better if you share it by email so everybody can have that and build the class portfolio on your own if you want to. That's what I have been trying to do.
Yeah, that is correct. You can't access the SSGs through my iClub. You cannot.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So just to just mentioned the stock is $1 from the 52-week low. Of course, it may go lower, but anyway, yes. Yes, go
Randall,
ahead.
do you want me to share the manifest investing and we can start kind of thinking what we can do with our portfolio?
Well, we could do that, or we could either do that next or the group 3 presentations. So we
Oh.
have an hour left.
Yes,
So let's go through the group 3 presentations maybe in 25 minutes or so, and then we can go ahead and then we could, I mean, they may present a stock we'd be interested in too, Carmen.
okay.
Okay, so
Perfect.
group 3, take it away.
Okay, Anne, are you going to do the education portion?
No,
Before-
no, I did something before you came on, so that was in preparation for this.
Okay, so we have already done a portion of our study.
Great.
Okay, so what we're going to present today, and I'm going to share. Hold on. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Nothing's happening here.
Okay, it was
Okay.
emailed out, so Sharon, Randall, maybe you can share it, if you have it there. Sharon did email it to everybody.
Well, I can't do that because I'm in my email now to get into the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Use the
Well,
stock.
I can, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna just say, while she's preparing to get the share to work, we use the stock screener to identify an industry that we did not have. And one place, it is NAPCO, NAPCO, and it's interesting where we were looking for an energy sector, but in some of the resources, this stock showed up in energy, and in some places it showed up as industrial. And later we found out that the club may have decided that because the return on investment, the earnings for each of these industries is so low that the club may not want to consider it, but we're going to go ahead and present it anyway. So it was sent out, and if anybody else has it, I apologize. My Wi-Fi, I'm on a ship, and it is so bad that you might not be able to hear me, but every other word. So Sharon, if you're able to share. If not, if somebody else that received it in their email can share.
Leon, let me try to get to my email now. I'll go through Google to get to my email. Let's see.
Sharon, are you having a problem just sharing it or what?
yes, I'm having trouble sharing.
Okay, all right. And I apologize, I could have had it up too. I'll go on mute.
Okay, I'm trying to get into my now. Okay. So Sharon, did you send it to me or who sent it to me?
No, I sent it.
Okay, let me see.
Says I'm sharing screen.
Okay, I've got it up now, but let me go back.
I think you were sharing your screen for a minute.
What about now?
No, no screen sharing now.
Let's see if I can get this up now. Can y'all see it now?
Yeah, so we can see your screen.
Yeah. So you were doing NAPCO? Here we go. There we go. Ms.
Okay, I'm
Jackson?
looking at
Yeah.
you. I'm looking at you.
Yes. I've got it up on my screen. Can you see that? The SSG on NAPCO?
Well, why am I?
With that
No,
type
Randall,
of-
all we see is your email, Better Investing email.
Okay, because I brought it up because I'm looking directly at it.
It's a different window. Can you pick a different window?
And let me try to do that.
Stop
Yes.
sharing first and then click the other window and share.
Thank you. So
It looks like there's an attachment that needs to be opened in the email.
Well, while he's doing that, let me kind of at least talk you as to what NAPCO is. All right. NAPCO is a manufacturer and a designer of high-tech electronic security devices, cellular communication service for intrusion and fire alarm systems. All right. And so it's located in Amityville, New York. It employs approximately 1,000 people, and it's a new company. It's founded in 1969. New is 1969. It tells you something about what I think. Now, this is the thing. It doesn't sell the end product. What it does do is that it sells to people that are actually going to provide the services. It sells it to people that actually distribute the product. So what it does is that it just has the parts, it has the program, and then it sells it to companies that are actually going to do the installation and the maintenance into the schools, into the offices, to the different end users. Now, I heard people talking about tariffs. Okay, so it's up now. So when you look at this in general, and probably it's done extremely well. Everything is extremely well until you get to that last quarter, and there was a big slump. Then I started digging through, talking about what happened. Why did all of a sudden you have up straight and pretty much parallel, and then at the end of last year you had a lot of falling off? And what they said is that they had distributors that were reducing. I guess it was because of the economy. I didn't get that specific, but it says towards the end of the year, their producers were starting to reduce sales equipment, and meaning that they were reducing their overall inventory levels, and that some of their companies, well, at least one of their major companies, was going through management restructuring, and that's the reason why they're saying that things started falling off. Now, from the reading, it basically says that they are still believing that it's going to be a strong market, that this is something that is cyclical that happens. But in general, this is a good company, and information and sales will be restored. Now, hold on. Now, we used, if you looked at the historical sales for 5 years, it has been 17.9. In the last just 1 year, it is 11%, and that's pretty much what we went to 10.9, and that is what the Cinnamon said. The Cinnamons went with 10.9, and then we said they're going to be able to maintain their growth that was projected, that they had from 23 to 24, 2023, 24, and we used 10.9. In terms of historical sales, if you just use the 5 years, it is the 50.9%. In the last year, I think it was reduced down to 34%. Sentiment said that that the forecasted growth would be 11.6. That's what we went. We said that we're sailing in unprecedented waters, but given the fact that security is still going to be high, we said we went with the 11.6%. Now, if you look down at their pre-tax profit, that has continued to be up. That is up, and debt to capital is next to nothing. It has consistently been going down. So you have at least two that are up, and debt to capital that has been going down. Now, in terms of valuation and return, we used for the high PE, we used the 35.8, which is basically the 5-year average. Their current PE is 19.4, but then when you start looking at the sentiments, now since we did ours, there have been a lot, the sentiments basically went a little bit higher, but we stuck with the 35.8 for the high PE. Now, for the low PE, that's where we had problems. I shouldn't say problems. It was the sentiments were always high. Everything looked like the low PE was higher. That it caused the low price to be didn't bring it down low enough. It caused an invalid. So we went ahead with a lower, the low PE, 17.9. Yes, 17.9 low PE, just to get rid of the conflict, the invalid number. Now, we came up with a buy. But even though it's a buy, we're saying that we would watch it. In reading everything about this company, it's a good company. There's been very few, just in watching the reviewers that are on YouTube, looking at the articles. The company has it has good bones. It ran into an issue at the end of last year. But we're still saying, I think we should put it on the watch list, and even though it's a buy, and see what happens in the next quarter.
What is their primary product?
Electronic security devices.
For whom? For businesses, for home, or do you know?
Well, so this is the thing. They do alarms for schools. They do alarms for businesses, and they will do them fire alarm systems. So mostly it's businesses, and their large secondary market has been for schools.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions?
Oh, silence is never good.
Good job, Sharon. That was a nice presentation. I didn't know about this company.
Yeah, I would agree. I've been burned, shall we say, before when say, "Oh, this is just a temporary problem. It's going to turn around next quarter." Yeah, how many times have I heard that? Like checks in the mail, sort of stuff. So I agree with you. Sounds like an excellent company. You can wait and see if they're starting to turn things around next quarter. I mean, if they are, great. If they keep on going down, well, okay. But we'll just continue to watch it. I think your suggestion is excellent, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, watching the videos of these hot dog young analysts, they have all been very high on NAPCO. And the biggest thing is that they do stockpile money. They have a lot of money in the bank, and they've been saying that is very high. That is very good. And they're just saying, well, I don't want to repeat myself. They're just saying that this is probably temporary, but still. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to say, this is going to be my last word. We compared their peers because they had peers that made more money. But when you went and looked, their railroad tracks were all over the place. This was the only one of the peers that was consistent. So that's the reason why we dug a little deeper with NAPCO.
Great.
I just
Ann, you have your hand up? Yeah, go ahead.
wanted to add something. When I said earlier that my partner report, I had the stock screener that I chose, one of the BI YouTube videos that I watched. Sharon and I looked at using this stock as a reason to use the stock screener. We found this stock by going to the screener first and putting in all of the criteria that we were looking for. In particular, we were looking for a stock either in I think it was energy first, right, Sharon? Or was it I think it was energy, and it ended up being in energy and in industrial. But my point, though, from an education perspective, is that this stock showed up in the stock screener from BI as a tool. And I just want to just make that point from an education perspective for the stock screener, that that's how we found this. Thank you.
Yeah, that's when I gave my presentation last month. I went through the BI stock screener and I was very pleased with results, because you can screen these stocks and quickly look at the visual analysis, which is what Sharon was saying about the other visual analysis didn't look good. And you can really hone down to just 2 or 3 stocks very quickly. But I'm completely agreeing with you, Ann. I think the only thing missing on the BI screener is price. Is it going to be in your buy range? But other than that, I think there's a lot of really highly positive things in specifically the BI screener.
I was going to jump in here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, I'm a guest actually. My name is Richard Fiora. Just to throw nothing for cold water on NAPCO, but I know they had some outlying, some kind of a lawsuit going on in California.
Well, that's interesting. We could look at the next quarterly report and how they report on that. Hopefully somebody asks a question about that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I did see that. I did see that. Maybe I should have reported on that, but there were issues saying that basically saying that maybe some of their what do I want to say, reviews of they may have been fiddling with the statistics is basically what I got out of that. But also just listening and getting again to the hot shot analysts, they're saying that NAPCO still looks very good.
Thank you.
I was throwing cold water on saying hot shot analyst. Sorry.
Yeah. No, the comment on the legal proceedings, that's a really difficult subject to really know what is true and accurate, what is actually going to happen, because it depends. It may be very serious, or it may be something this firm may face lawsuits like this, every year. I don't know. But
it's just food for thought. That's all.
No, I agree. I'm very glad you brought it up, but that's something we can kind of delve into before we look at the next quarter report and decide if that's something of, as best we can tell, is it useful or not. So is that the end of the group 3 presentation? Or do we have more?
Yes, that's it.
Great, perfect. So why don't we okay. Why don't we go in and start to discuss? So we have, 40 minutes to discuss what we want to do with our portfolio. So first, I'll go back to our current portfolio, as we've discussed. So this is our current portfolio here. And did we looked at, and here's our sectors. So, is anybody, I would like anybody to discuss if they wish to make a purchase. We have $1,700 now, purchase in these areas that we're a little bit light in for, like, for example, healthcare. Some people may say, well, why don't we cut back to financial services? We're at 33% and we keep more in healthcare or something else. But anyway, let's have a general discussion. Let's go ahead and start. Carmen, why don't you lead it off and see what your thoughts are? Carmen, you may be on mute. Are you there? Well, anybody else can start talking. I think we need to save like 30 minutes at the end of each meeting to make purchase or sales discussion. So let's have some thoughts. What was everybody thinking about what's been presented and what they want to do? Just go ahead and start discussing it. I'd like somebody to go ahead and start. I don't want to make it all about Randy Buzz.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Great.
Something
Oh,
was-
great. Okay, great. What are your thoughts we should do now?
I want to share.
Okay, great. I'll stop sharing. I've stopped. Go ahead.
I want to share this screen because I don't have everybody's SSG, so that I cannot use the PER reports right now. So this is what we have, and I have been adding the companies that we have been talking today. So for example, here are the companies that they were in the watch list and the companies that we talked today, the NAPCO, for example. So, and all of these who are 0 shares are on the watch list. So, and we talk about the total part of the portfolio and the growth of portfolio. So let me arrange this by quality, high quality first. So I have here that the highest qualities will be Taiwan Semiconductors. And what analysts are projecting is almost a 15% growth with a part of 18.1. And Taiwan has been in our list for a long time, I believe. But then you can see that if arranged by quality, the next green or the side, we should look for companies that they have over 12% par. So I would not talk about Visa or NVIDIA or Oli. So I will have to move to, even Chipotle could be there because and we can play with that. If we add money, that's the good thing about this software, that we can do it a lot. And the next one will be, but nice, Randall said that it's no longer that good. So that's when it's hard to make decisions. Now I arrange it by par, so make it easy. So make sure that we have a quality in the blue color and a high par. So if you want me to start adding, subtracting, and I have the catch here that we have, so we can be moving down, moving up stuff, so we can play with that.
Yeah, I think what Carmen's saying, and this is, Cy Lynch writes an article like every other month in the Better Investing magazine on portfolio. And basically what you do, as Carmen just said, is you try to buy a high par, high quality company and with your cash, and maybe even say, the rule of fives, about 1/5 of the stocks you choose are going to not do what you project. And you may say, well, we need to jettison. You may even have a high par. For example, 5 Below. It has like a par of 15.9, but it's not doing well. And so you say, well, I want to eject that and buy, let's say, Taiwan, which is a quality of 99 or 100 and a par. It's dropped from $220 down to $174. I follow that stock for the club and myself. I just did a recent stock selection guide. So, I mean, that would be an example of improving the portfolio overall par by basically purchasing a high par greater than the average, and sometimes just selling one of the rule of fives, that 1/5 that we all have mistakes with. I'll make one comment. I read a book 20 years ago. George Soros is one of the greatest hedge fund managers of all time. Some people love his politics, some people don't. It's nothing to do with politics, but he's a brilliant investment manager. And he wrote a book called Soros on Soros. And there were two things. But one thing I remember most is he said, what is his greatest quality? He says, sometimes I realize I'm just flat wrong. And I don't stick my feet in the ground and say be stubborn. I just get out of the position before I lose a lot more. I think that's when the most brilliant investment manager says he's wrong. I think it's just like rule of fives. We're sometimes wrong. It can look like a perfect SSG. It could be like the most beautiful SSG you've ever seen, but the company doesn't perform well. So anyway, that I always thought that was very interesting. But go ahead. Shall we discuss? Do we want to add anything to healthcare, for example? We're low in healthcare. And actually, Viva is more of a software company in healthcare. One could almost say, is it a tech company or is it a healthcare company? I think you could have a debate on that myself. But anyway.
I have to say that our SSG looks higher than what the manifest investing analysts are projecting. For example, Medpace PAR is higher than ResMed. And any of those two numbers are over 12%. So that's kind of a big disappointment.
Yeah, you know, they're median. The PAR is median, not high PE. It's
Okay.
using the median PE. So when you say so it's going to be lower than our projections, because our projections are using the high PE. This is
Okay.
using the median PE.
The average
Just to
PE.
mention
Okay.
that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Manifest does.
So, but either way, if our portfolio is 11.9, we should have something, and that's the average. We should have something in that range. So,
Yeah, so that's why I said Taiwan Semiconductor looked interesting myself. What are your thoughts?
Taiwan, yes, and it has been on the news, and it seems that they're coming to the US and everything, but also the China-Taiwan situation is also there. So I have no idea. So we need to do something here, but it's something that we don't have. And if I remember correctly, technology is still relatively low percentage-wise in our portfolio, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to selling the NICE and buying, you know, we have $1,590 of NICE and buy like, you know, Taiwan Semiconductor like $3,000. That would be okay with, I mean, that's a thought. Now that's going to make your PAR look worse because when you're in the yellow,
Yeah.
as you say, your manifest, that's a warning signal because they say, well, you know, it may not be right. They have basically green, which is basically in your sweet spot. And then when they get to yellow, they say it's kind of a warning signal because, you know, it means like what we're saying is not actually coming through. But that's my thought. I mean, Taiwan Semiconductor, there, for people who don't know, is the fab company that basically makes like more than 90% of the chips, you know, and it is just fabulous. And it has been, and I just, you know, I presented it either last meeting or the meeting before, its price was like $220. And now with this sell off, particularly of the tech stocks, it's down to 174. As a matter of fact, the cover page for Barron's today's paper says the Fabulous Seven are on sale. It's not one of the Fab Seven, but it's like that. It's just a tremendous company. But that's my thoughts. But let's have, you know, this is a partnership. Let's have other people else discuss it. That's my thought.
I have a question. This is Jennifer.
Uh-huh.
Would purchasing Taiwan Semiconductors do anything with would it increase our technology within the?
Yeah, but I would say I would probably sell NICE, which is a technology company.
Okay.
So let's say we have NICE, we have like $1,600 in NICE. I mean, I would probably my thought process would be to consider selling the NICE and buying that much of tech plus more. Plus, I mean, Taiwan, and that would be my thought process. Because I think you improve the quality which is just important, which is very important. It improves the quality of the portfolio. Nice is 90, it says it's 96, but the last year it's, a lot of people think the reason it's down is because of the Israeli Gaza Strip war. But yeah, I've got questions about it. Nice basically is a company that helps support like customer relations with the that let's say companies use. But you have to wonder, how's AI going to come in? I mean, quite honestly, when I talk to, let's say, Delta Airlines, I'd rather talk to a robot than the idiots I'm sometimes talking to. And is AI going to disrupt a company like NICE? I don't know. They say they're using AI, but that's a question.
I will
Yes.
support Rhonda on his
Yeah.
proposal. We need to do something. This is, we cannot be inactive. So I will go and buy Taiwan, sell NICE, and see what happens.
What about Celestica, CLS?
Well, I can see the quality, it's below 80. So I will be concerned. And if I remember correctly, it have few torpedoes. I assume do you know if Taiwan has any torpedoes, Rhonda?
Well, let me go bring it up. I can see right now.
So that's the only question there is it's torpedo wise, it's Canadian-based company, I believe.
No, Taiwan is Taiwan.
No, I meant the other Celestia.
Oh, okay.
It's Canadian-based, and that's under a bit of pressure. Trade war wise, it might be. Let's put it this way: Taiwan's a darling of the current administration, whereas Canada's a little under fire.
Okay, let me see. Let's see if I can screen share. Y'all not looking at my screen now, are you?
No.
Okay, I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up right now.
Is manifesting.com, is that part of Better Investing?
So Manifest Investing, let me explain. Mark started Manifest probably about 10 or 15 years. So he used to work for Better Investing. I mean, he was an employee of Better Investing. And they use all of Better Investing. They just when they look at my PAR, that and PAR, they're looking at using the average PE, the median PE instead of a high PE. But it's very much Better Investing. As a matter of fact, he has a weekly discussion with Ken Kavula, which is basically a lead educator for Better Investing. And everybody knows Ken. Anybody who goes to me knows Ken. So yeah, it's very much Better Investing. So anyway, I just brought up my stock selection guide for Taiwan Semiconductor. Sales growth, I said 15%, although Morningstar said 21. Earnings per share, I said 16, which is what analyst estimates said. Pre-tax profit, basically 50%. That's excellent. Return on equity averaging about 30%. Debt, 20%. I look at the valuation return. So the stock is down from 226, and that's what when I was presenting it a couple months ago, that's where it was. I said, well, it's a great company, but it's too rich. But now the current PE is, let's see. The current PE is 24.7. The 5-year average is 21. Okay, so it's still higher than that. When I used a PE of 25 for the get my high price at 384, low price is 111, and it gives me the upside downside of 3.3 with a high PE of 19. A PAR, this is the number here that Manifest should use, is 15. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it was 17, but that's my calculation. Remember, I still go back to when I first joined Better Investing in 1989. I'm trying to get a stock that's going to average 15% a year going forward. So I double every 5 years. That's always in the back of my mind. Always in the back of my mind. So anyway, here's Taiwan. I think you probably throw a dart at some of these tech stocks and do okay. Not the next month or 2 or 3. I have no idea where they're going, but the next 5 years. And this company essentially is nearly a monopoly of making Like they make the chips for like NVIDIA, AMD. I mean, they're the one that actually manufactures the chips. So it's anyway, it's kind of like they said when back in gold mining days in California, they say the people who were looking for gold didn't make much money, but the people who sold Levi jeans made a lot of money. They're the picks and shovels, shall we say, which is what this company is. More comments? Anybody wants to, what everybody else's thoughts? I mean, you may want something, you may be looking at our watch list. You say, I don't like that as much. I may want Chipotle, I'm just bringing this up.
I will go ahead with your proposal, Randall, just step by step. As you said, sell nice, buy Taiwan. It's how much of Taiwan we want to buy. So nice is 4.4 of the portfolio, and that's about $1,600, and that's how much we have 17 on card, so we still can buy probably or do a limit order for, I don't know, bring it to 6% and 3% to one price, 3% another price, and see what happened with on the market this coming week. I'm surprised that parts are not higher with all the noise that you heard on the news. Maybe it's just noise. So, but the fundamentals of the companies are there. So that's what we want to see.
Yeah, and this stock and several of these stocks have now come out of the hold range into the buy range. This is not the only one. There's several I have. If we bought like approximately 3,000 shares of Taiwan, we would buy $2,000, excuse me. We would buy 17 shares of Chipotle, Taiwan. So I'm just looking consumer cyclical, which is where Chipotle is. We only have 4.6%. So that's the other one to think about, I would think.
I think so too.
Yeah. What's everybody else thinking?
Let's split the money between Chipotle and Taiwan and sell nice.
That's fine. So
agreed.
So I'm sorry, go ahead. So we currently have $1,719 in cash. Currently, our nice is $1,590. So that's $3,300.
So we have.
And we'll get money, obviously. Well, I don't know how much more money we'll get, but we currently have $3,300.
Yeah, so we have 4.4% in nice and 4.8 in cash. So we can, it's about the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So we can do that.
Yes. And you want to split it between Taiwan and Chipotle?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Let's have other people's comments.
Agreed.
Yeah, Chipotle is, I mean, I don't know if you like it or not. I didn't used to like it, but now the last couple of years, I eat there once or twice a week. They're just solid, and they keep on growing and people love them. Now, one of my big mistakes in my investing life was when Chipotle dropped like 7 or 8 years ago. They had a E. coli scare, bacteria scare, and it dropped like 30 or 40%. And I knew at that time we should have bought it, and I did. And it's an error of omission, is what Warren and Charlie Munger would say. It was a foolish thing. I should have bought it then.
It was a rocket ship ever since then.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it was just a mistake. It was a plain error by me. But nonetheless, it has dropped now, as we were just talking about it. It's dropped rather considerably in price now, and it's in the buy range, and it has not been in the past, at least not in my stock selection guides. So now, do we want to buy limit orders? Well, what I could do is just sell, since Ione's not really available, I could sell the nice, get that done, and then put in orders for the other two stocks, limit orders. Is that what people wish to do? We'll just split it between the other two.
Randall, I think that sounds like a good plan.
I'm sorry?
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Yvonne. You had an echo, I couldn't tell it. So I think that sounds reasonable. I think it will upgrade our quality of our stocks, because I think both Chipotle and Taiwan Semiconductor are very high quality stocks. I think that's important. NICE is not a high quality. So I think that's a good plan. So let's go ahead. Let's first take a vote on that general plan, and then we can vote exactly what limit order we want. But does everybody, let's say, I'm going to say Carmen gave the proposal, or I did, and then Yvonne seconded it. Is everybody in favor of that? Why don't you come off your mute and see if you're generally in favor or opposed, please. Let's go ahead and get that vote in. So all those in favor of basically selling NICE and then splitting it between Chipotle and Taiwan Semiconductor, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Wait, Mr. President, you can't make the motion for the president, so one of us.
No, I
would
said
have-
Carmen, I'm saying Carmen made the motion.
Oh, okay. Is
Yeah.
Carmen gonna? Listen?
Carmen, why don't you make the motion?
I'm still here. Yes, let's do what Randall is proposing. Sell NICE, buy Taiwan and Chipotle, and split the cash evenly between the two companies we're buying.
And Yvonne,
Second.
can you give me, okay, was that Yvonne?
Yes, I second the
Okay.
motion.
Okay, now we got it all straight. Okay, so let's take the vote again. All those in favor say aye.
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 Is anybody opposed? Okay, so let's just come up with some ideas for, does anybody want to suggest limit? The current price of Taiwan is 174. But what's the current price of Chipotle? Let me see, I'll look it up real quick.
$50.03.
Oh, it's $50. Does one wish to make a suggestion that we use those for the limit orders, or a little bit less? Anybody would discuss that? What are everybody's thoughts?
So let me ask you, what has been the low price for the last week? The range
For which company?
aren't we talking about Chipotle now?
Yes, I mean, I can look that up. I can look
Okay,
that real
I was
quick.
just saying, I thought you were asking about should we consider a limit order? And I was thinking if we
Yes.
looked at that, that would give us an idea as to how what we can think about in terms of a limit order.
Oh, the current, I'm just looking, the high price the last week was $51.13. The low price looks to be around $49.
Oh, so it's not much difference.
No. It's currently at 50, it's right in the middle of that right now at $50 and 30 cents or 3 cents, so something like that. So there's not been a lot of variety in that stock.
It seems that the low price for Chipotle in the last 3 days was 48 and 49. So being 50 now, it's about the same. So
Yeah.
Probably not much point to do a limit order at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because what happens if the whole market, let's say, goes down, then we're going to get less for NICE, but we're also going to pay less for Taiwan and Chipotle in general. So yeah, I'll just split between the two. I think that's an improvement to the quality and the par. I think going forward, I think we have to consider in our current portfolio the stock that gives me the greatest angst, and I supported purchasing it. So let's just say you can point all the arrows at me, is Five Below. it's lost half its value since we bought it. And I'm just saying, if we want to purchase something else, I think we might want to get a few dollars from that one. We also may want to sell part of our Axos, which Carmen and I discussed last time. Or next, we can discuss that next month. But just, I mean, Five just hasn't been able to turn around yet. I don't know if they're going to, but it's hard to sell stock that's down 50%. We've lost $1,790, but I think it's one of those rule of five stocks. We just made a mistake. Or let's just say Randy made a mistake. Let's make it easy. I'll take the bows and arrows at me. So, but that's something for next month. So this month, let me just review. This month, we're going to sell NICE. We're going to purchase Chipotle and Taiwan Semiconductor. Now, this is the benefit of putting them into our watch list because we had them available and we have discussed them. We're going to add Netco to the watch list. And then we'll relook at ResMed and MedPace in the future if we wish to buy a healthcare stock. I think it's something to consider. So let's that's okay with everybody. Just to mention, Group 4 is presenting next month, which will be on April 19th. But let's go to open discussion from guests in the audience. Yes.
Mr. President, I have a query.
Yes.
So when you presented the watch list, you had TGLS, but I presented an SSG for that, but it said no SSG. So did I do something wrong or?
You have to
what?
link your.
Because
you have to link.
I thought it was a promising stock.
You have to link your link the stock. You have to link your SSG to that.
Oh, okay. So I need to go in and do something.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is Rick Fiore again. I'm going to jump in for 1 second from the peanut
Sure.
gallery. I was going to throw on for you, just for your food for thought, is Texas Roadhouse to go along with your Chipotle. You know, being that it has a dividend is something to consider. It's considered more stable play, but they're both awesome. Actually, I would say. And then for your medical play, your ResMed, I am a CPAP user. But I would look at considering putting Bristol Squid Meyer on your consideration list.
Well, the quality of the growth, I used to own Bristol. The growth has been very slow the last 5 years. I'm just asking why your thoughts are Bristol. Just the dividend?
The new development, they purchased those cancer treatment centers for the, I think it's LaserX. I forget what they call it, but it's that topical cancer treatment. They purchased that network, and it's a conservative play. But once again, I think a bit hedge against some of the riskier stuff.
Okay, well, thank you.
Just throwing it out there. There are some new developments. I have some other. There's two other drug developments too that would be worth consideration as well. That are past I guess their initial. Human third stage or something along those lines.
Yeah, as you know, I mean, drug companies back in the 80s were the hot drugs, and everybody's coming out with these new drugs, like for cholesterol was the big one. But the last 10 or 20 years, like for example, Pfizer is the same price as it was 20 years ago, maybe up 5%. Not per year, but in 20 years. So all you've gotten is a dividend growth. Bristol, which I've owned in the past, I mean, basically the way the company's doing now, just like you were suggesting, they purchase a company to get a new drug. They're not developing the drugs themselves. But that's like what, for example, we were talking about MedPace. MedPace fits in that, whereas a biotech company develops a new molecule, MedPace tests it, and when they're doing well in phase 3, somebody like Bristol Myers or Pfizer will buy them. That's kind of the modus operandi now in these drug companies.
Correct. What are your thoughts on Texas Roadhouse? Have you done an overlay with Texas on top of laying it over Chipotle?
I know, I don't know Texas Roadhouse well. I do know that it is it is well liked in the better investing community. Let's see if I can get, there it is. And you can see, can you see my screen up there? Yeah, my screen's up there. You can see with the
I can see it.
exception, yeah, with the exception of the COVID epidemic in 2020, their visual analysis has been good. Their earnings per share long-term is 12%, sales is 8%. So yeah, it's been well liked. I mean, I'm agreeing with you that it's been well liked in the better investing community. And currently, price is 172, which is down like $40 from its high, or $35, and about the same. It's probably about $30 above its low. Current PE is 26. Average PE is 43. So yeah, I mean, I would agree. Your recommendation to also look at Texas Instruments. I mean, what am I saying? Texas Roadhouse is a valid. Okay. Any more comments? Questions?
I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you structured the meeting today, because you said, was today strictly a stock watcher?
No, this is what we do every meeting now. This has been going for 3 or 4 months.
Okay, you look at all of the stocks on your watch list as well as portfolio stocks?
So quarterly we do. So every meeting we have about 5 or 6 stocks that are either in the portfolio or in the watch list. And we want like a 5-minute presentation. This is nothing new. This has been going on for a few months now. And so I think, I mean, you have to review your stocks to realize, okay, so we have some money, we want to buy something to add to what we've had, or you have a watch list for a reason. But also you have to look at and see, what are the fundamentals doing? Like, for example, if you're looking at fundamentals, and I'm picking on a stock earlier. I mean, look at Five Below.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at that. I mean, their sales has been doing okay, but their profits are going down. Have been the last 4 quarters, right there.
Yeah.
And so, why do you sell a stock? Number one, if you have a better stock, or number two, if it's fundamentally doing poorly. Not because the price is down, because if the price is down and fundamentally they're doing well, that's an indication to consider buying more. Where the fundamentals are down, it is what it is. And if
Well,
you look
how
at
long is your stock watch? Because your stock watch list then is all the stocks that you don't own that you're currently watching.
Yeah, well, yes, that's correct. And we make a decision to add things to stock watchers. And I think we probably, let me see if I go to the stock watcher list now.
Because I'm wondering, do you limit how many stocks are in your stock watcher list?
Well, you can get so large, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
That you can't have like 50 stocks, the stock watcher list. And I think it's like, 8 or 9 now. And now, since, for example, Taiwan Semiconductor and Chipotle Mexican were purchasing, that will come out of the stock watcher list, and just in the portfolio list. So obviously, but basically a stock watcher list. Stock watchers are, okay, this is a very high quality company, has good growth in sales and earnings. We wish to purchase this, but the stock is too highly priced.
Yeah.
Or we want to wait till, like, for example, the next quarter report on NAPCO. We'll put it in the stock watcher list, and then we'll say, okay, well, now their price is down. Like we've had the sell off. Mark's down about 10% from its high. So that's called a correction. And some of these stocks, which we just discussed, both Chipotle and Taiwan, and we've said before we could not purchase them, but now we say we can.
Okay.
Yeah. That's basically
it. Thank you.
Some people call it a pounce list.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
To further answer that question, this is Jennifer. We have 10 stocks on our watch list currently, and we have about between 5 and 6 of stocks, both portfolio and watch list, for reporting quarterly, monthly, and quarterly. Does that answer the question as well? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm actually going into,
Thank Zelda.
yeah.
Oh, I'm
Zelda,
sorry. Yes, yes. I was wondering, so you don't review all of your portfolio stocks every meeting. You
No,
just
every quarter, so 1/3.
every quarter you look at all your portfolio stocks.
Yeah. So let's go through this to make this, let's see, let me share this. Let me share a watch list now. I'm glad you brought this up. So this is our watch list now. And I guess the question is, so should we take any of these out of the watch list and say, okay, now we're not interested in this anymore. So this one should be eliminated because it's part of the portfolio now. The Christian's, oil stock. I'm sorry?
These are all watch list stocks.
That's correct. Yeah, I brought up the watch list to see if anybody thinks we should. Let's first go through the names. So Rose, you're following Celestia, correct?
We need, Randall, sorry, we need to remove NVIDIA.
Okay.
Because we own that now.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was just saying. How do I?
It's still there.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find out how I can. No, I forgot how I can edit it. There's some way to edit it.
Does it have to be the person who put it on there?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But I'll have to. I'm blanking on how to edit this, but there is a way. For example, so we'll take NVIDIA out, we'll take Christian stock out, we'll take CMG out. So of course it'll go into the portfolio. So you're right. But is everybody's name here correctly? Are these names? Because we were bringing this up. So I'm going to switch Carmen to me on MedPace. Was everybody looking at this? Are there any mistakes here while we're all on here?
It is correct. We did this about January, as far as I recall. And this was, I think we put out a call during the meeting and people signed up and we changed it at that point.
Yeah, that's correct.
So
Okay.
it is pretty much correct.
Okay. Well, I will make those changes. And if there's no more questions, I think we can close the meeting unless somebody else has something else to bring up. We're at 12 o'clock right on. But I think it was a good meeting. That was a really good meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. We will make these purchases and adjustments on Monday and go from there. Thank you very much.
No motion to dismiss.
Thank you.
Randall,
Yes.
I have a motion to dismiss.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.